You're listening to the Punisher Waterfowls, the Union 0430 podcast.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Union 0430, episode 132. We've got Rocky Stockdale coming to us all the way from Arkansas, but I know all of yous are wondering. I know the last episode, Ryan and Mark had said it was the worst episode ever. Don't watch it. And you know what? The reverse psychology worked because everybody watched that goddamn episode. It was awesome. And we got a lot of people commenting. And I know you're all wondering about our friend in Montana, my kindred spirit, the big Sid fan. He did write us back, Mark. He's not a Vikings fan, not a Packers fan.
Good,
not a
Vikings fan, I'm okay.
He
better
is
not be a Pats fan.
He's not a he is a diehard Pittsburgh fan no matter what. Phillies, Steelers, Penguins, you name it. He's a Pittsburgh fan.
Steelers not bad. They're my second football team, so.
Really?
Yeah.
Weird. Anyways.
What can I say? I watch teams that win championships.
Well, they call that bandwagon down here, I think. But
Hey, listen here, Rocky Stockdale. You've been fucking jumping on my and chirping me a little bit about the Leafs lately too. So
yeah, bust balls when I can.
You've been busting my balls about the Leafs for a little bit here. So it's good to see that the Leaf bashing is international.
100%.
Everybody loves to hate the Leafs.
Everybody loves to hate the Leafs. I did want to get a quick shout out for the Toronto Sportsman Show that's happening on the 16th to the 19th of March. If you haven't heard me talk about it yet, we will be there. We're setting up the refuge. We're bringing in a bunch of our friends. We're going to be there for the 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th. So 4 days. We got some people talking. We got Stoger Canada, who's our big Benelli Beretta distributor here in Canada. They're going to be there. They're going to be talking. Brian McCrae, who is the director of Government Affairs in Canada. So Brian McCrae is going to come. He's going to do some talking while he's at the show. Delta's setting up a big booth there. So it promises to be a great time. And I'm really, really hoping that everybody that's listening, I know there's a pile of people that's south of the border that's not going to make the trip all the way up to Toronto to come see us, but I wish you would. But everybody that's in and around the Toronto area, that's within driving distance, I certainly hope get a chance to see you, shake your hand, and have a chat with you, and you can tell me all about this, what you like and don't like about the show. So that's out of the way. Rocky, buddy, thanks for coming on. Thanks for sending a message and saying, hey, listen, we should do an episode because yeah. Thanks.
Man, I don't know. I just thought it'd be kind of cool to kind of do a season recap, see kind of what tactics worked, what didn't work, with some good success stories.
Mm-hmm.
And success stories don't always have to be what's called successful, man. You can have success at failure. Learning. Learning stuff. So I just thought it'd be good to put it out there. And
I've seen many people succeed at sucking. So yeah.
So Rocky, before we get into that, how is everything going with River Rat decoy rigs? So,
man, it's ebb and flow, dude. It's just ebb and flow.
Yeah. Good.
Yep.
Good. Well, as long as you're happy, that's all that matters, right?
Absolutely.
And, what one person judges as success may not resonate for the other, right? And that's the thing. People ask me, and I'm sure you probably say the same thing, and people ask me, how's business? And I'm like, it's doing what it was supposed to do, right from the beginning. So would I love to be filthy rich? Absolutely. But I don't have the brain wave or the bandwidth or the brain to keep up with the rigors of being extremely successful in this world. So we'll leave it at that. So season wise, how was your season?
Man, my son and I had an exceptional season. We smashed them for what I consider West Arkansas. I got to travel around a little bit. Went to North Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
Went to Kansas once. Kansas and North Dakota was kind of a letdown, but it doesn't mean I'm not going back. Went down to Oklahoma. Oklahoma was a beatdown in 2 days, and then West Arkansas. I mean, we had a couple of days that were just fire. I mean, just we were standing out. We got done shooting. We were standing outside the blind, and thousands of mallards were just dropping in. They didn't care.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I mean, it's just something you don't get to see all the time, and it was just freaking awesome. I don't know if did you guys see that picture I posted with all those duck tracks in the sand?
Yep. No, I didn't see it. No,
I'll have to send it to you, Damien.
Yeah.
It was wild. I've never seen nothing in my life like that. It just
really.
Oh my gosh, dude! It was crazy. I mean, just all along the sandbar, just duck tracks. It is incredible.
You know, I had this note written down that I wanted to talk about, and it's meant to be a joke. Since we've been doing this show, we've been educated. So myself, Mark, Phil, Dave, Ryan, on the geography of the states and where we think are big duck hunting states. And then we talk to somebody from California or Oregon or Washington State and Wisconsin and Ohio. And we're hearing about all these places. And we always go back to the fact that we say, man, we always think, we're thinking southern Missouri, into Kansas, down in Arkansas, Louisiana. Like those are the states that you typically think of as your big duck hunting. And so the running joke has been, we're doing the boys in Arkansas a favor. We're putting some attention on the other states to keep the people away from Arkansas. But when you're saying, and I get it, it's not happening every day, but at the end of a hunt, to be cleaning up and to see like 1,000 mallards dropping into a hole, buddy, that's just got to be insane to see.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. So how the flyaway comes down out of the Dakotas into Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri. I speculate how the birds kind of split up and run down into eastern central Oklahoma, and then they run down through central eastern Arkansas. My personal feeling about that is if you look at the topography, how the Boston Mountain Range sits, as it comes down into South Missouri and then get into North Arkansas, that mountain range kind of sits right there. And I think the vast majority of those birds split off into the previously mentioned geography of the states.
Yeah,
home state in Oklahoma. So in order for West Arkansas to have a solid season without traveling too much, we have to have spillover both from Oklahoma and eastern Arkansas into West Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, I mean, you guys know how it is. You got to have the weather along with that. And we just had a stretch of weather that was just perfect. I mean, it just blue skies filled with birds and cold. I mean, it was you couldn't ask for a better couple of days.
So what date like that? So that day when you're seeing those birds, you're cleaning up. So what are we talking? End November, December when you're seeing that?
That was right after Christmas, I believe it was.
Yeah. So end December.
Yeah. So I mean, really and truly, we don't. A lot of people, they can't wait for that second and third split down here because that's when it starts to get right. The weather starts to get right. So, that's not to say that the first split isn't fire, because that opening weekend usually is, but then it really starts to kind of peter out. But then we get into that second split and start getting closer to January, and it starts getting cold, and that migration is really on.
Are you guys done? Your season's over now though, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We ended January 31st, and then we had that youth veteran hunt.
Okay.
February 4th, which it was my son's last year on that youth hunt.
Okay.
He was 16 in March, so I guess next year old dad will be by himself.
Just walk right down to the recruiting office and sign him up, buddy.
Funny you mentioned that. He's kind of hinted around about that, but I think
Really?
he kind of wants to go into a little welding. Maybe go down that course and weld. So we'll see what happens. He's got a bright future.
I was talking to my son the other day. Sorry, Mark. I was talking to my son the other day and just chatting about, and he's 13. He'll be 14 this summer, and talking about, what are you going to do when you get out of school? He's adamant he's going to be a copper, right? He wants to be a cop, but he said, but I've got 3 plans, Dad. And I said, oh yeah. I said, what's that? He said, well, first plan is to be a cop. He said, if I can't be a cop, then I'm going to get a trade. And if I can't get it, and if I decide not to trade, then I'm going to join the army. I said, well, let's just knock the third option right out of there right now. And let's just stick with number 1 and number 2 for now. And let's see
number 2 being the better choice.
Yeah.
Oh, trades, or if your boy wants to be a welder in the long run, that's a better option than going in the military.
Yeah. I don't disagree, man. He's got a bright future ahead of him. He's got big dreams. Sometimes he mentions wanting to go to East Arkansas, or we know some guys in Oklahoma, maybe get hooked up with some dog trainers and being a bird boy, and then maybe move into get on with some outfitters as is doing the grunt work, and eventually working his way up to being a guide. But I mean, he's got passion for it. I can tell you that. There is no doubt about it. So
well, and at a young age is the time to do it. Like, if you're going to do it, get in young and have your fun, and hopefully you're the owner of an outfit by the time you hit 35 years old. So then you can leave it to the young bucks again, right?
Yep. Yeah.
I know, like Anthony Smith, like his young fella guides up in Alaska. I think he in the summer he's guiding fishing somewhere, and then he goes up to Alaska, guides the salmon fishing up in Alaska, and then comes down in the fall down continental state side, and then he'll do the the birds and turkey and all that shit. But it's got to be a grind, but it's a young man's game. So you know what? If he's got the passion for it, good for him. I wish I could do it, but there's no way I could. I'd last about a week and a half. That'd be it. Tops.
You could make it to the first split.
Oh no, not at all. No way. No way, buddy. There's not a chance in hell. I've hunted with Merck. Me and Merck and Ryan have done like week-long trips. I don't know, like day 4, Merck? I'm usually like, boys, I'm sleeping in this morning. I'm not doing
Takes a night off or a day off.
Yeah, I'll take a day off just to sit back, relax. It's not that I don't love it. It just beats on me so much. And I don't know, 20 years of sleeping in the dirt and playing silly bugger in the woods. I like my sleep now. I really, really do like my sleep.
That was like us when I went out west. Afternoon nap every day.
Oh yeah. Well,
every day.
Gotta have afternoon nap.
Yeah.
It's awesome now because my kids are older, right? Like I've got a 16-year-old and a 14-year-old. But I can remember when they were babies and toddlers, I'd come home and if I thought I was having a nap, yeah, good luck. Because first off, I had to get permission from the wife to have a nap because she'd been chasing the rugrats around for the last 6 hours. And then it was them climbing all over me and shit. So anyways.
Yep.
Anyways, that's it. Mark, Rocky, I wish you were on, man. You were eating dinner when I turned this on, and Phil and Mark gets on. And we usually get on and we shoot the shit a little bit, talk about this or that before, the guest comes on or whatever. buddy. Well, you walked in. Actually, you joined as we were talking about it. You should have heard the two of them going on about chainsaws. Holy fuck. It was like, well, I got a 467 fucking
Binford 6100
Mark II with a 28-inch blade and all this stuff. And Mark's like,
454 Yemi.
yeah, Mark and Phil, like Damien has no idea what we're talking about. I was like, no, I don't even know. I bought a saw off Mark.
That's all he knows.
That's all I know. I know it's a still saw. I know it's a powerful saw. It's a pro saw. But other than that, I have no idea what it is. I know when I want to cut something down, it cuts it down good. But the two of them going, well, what is it? That's a 50cc. And then there's all this. I wish you could have been here because they were geeking out over chainsaws. Pretty good.
Got to do something where you ain't shooting ducks.
Fair.
Right.
Trees ain't gonna cut themselves.
Nope.
Well, true.
Yep. Wood ain't gonna split itself.
No.
That's right.
No.
So have you been noticing? So first off, I want to know, because any video I have seen of the avian flu, anything I've seen online, it's all coming at it to say I've yet to see a bird in Canada with it. Now, I'm not saying fucking chill out, everybody. I'm not saying the States is like fucking patient zero or something like that. But I haven't seen any video out of Canada of a bird with the avian flu yet. Have you come across anything down in your neck of the woods? Have you heard anything about it? Because all I've seen is in the Dakotas and that part of the world. I haven't seen anything north of the border or like in the south.
I got to talking with a buddy of mine that he hunts over in Oklahoma quite a bit.
Yeah.
And he knows the game wardens well, which I would assume that I guess some of the game and fish folks are biologists also. So the biologist talking with the game wardens and then the game warden talking with my buddy, I guess there was somewhere around 60% of the birds that they tested on this body of water in Oklahoma had the flu. And they found it mostly in teal. And then I saw somewhere where it was crossing species. I think I read an article, something about a whale had the avian flu.
Really?
Yeah.
Follow the goal, I guess.
Yeah, swallowing a gull or a sea duck or something.
Wow.
So,
I seen the last video I seen, and I know Sean Weaver put up a picture, and I don't know where it is now if I forget, but he had put up a picture of a body of water and a bunch of ducks had frozen in the lake, right? But they had all perished to the avian flu, and then they got frozen into the lake. But the latest video I seen, I can't remember who posted it, and it may have been Sean Weaver again, actually. But it was a Canada goose. And buddy, I'm going to tell you, it's fucking heartbreaking to watch it.
Yep.
Like it is not a good time to watch that, man. Like this goose was, I didn't enjoy it at all. I didn't enjoy watching that at all. But I'm curious because at the beginning of the season, remember all that, there was all that back and forth. Well, if you're in Canada hunting, you can't bring anything back across the border into the States. And then they changed it. And then there was still a lot of people that were concerned. Well, what's going on with the avian bird flu? Is it going to be a big thing? It affected some banding in some places here in Canada, the private duck clubs and stuff. They weren't allowed to have their bait piles out. So that was in Ontario anyways, right, Phil? I'm not sure if that was straight across Canada, but in Ontario, the bait
there was
piles.
No bait permits being issued.
So something they did here was up in the valley, they have a chicken farm and chicken processing, and they feed the bald eagles every year in the winter. So they throw out chickens and parts of chickens,
carcasses and shit.
and they feed them every year. This year they didn't, and I don't live near the valley, and I haven't seen so many bald eagles in my life as what I've seen this winter. So I guess they're spread out everywhere, trying to look for food elsewhere.
Trying to look for food.
Because there will be hundreds and hundreds of bald eagles up in the
Really?
valley. Yeah, when they're feeding them, there's so many bald eagles up there.
Huh.
I saw a picture. Some friends of a friend, they had a chicken house. I can't remember how many houses, but there was just a massive pile of chickens just piled up dead, and the avian flu was in that.
Wow.
So, yeah.
But like down in your end, like you never heard nothing about it. It wasn't a big concern.
No, aside from that, talking to my buddy with that Oklahoma water.
Yeah.
I mean, it was discussed on the social media pages.
Right.
You know, how to handle your meat and, you know, when you're processing it and cooking it. But aside from that, man, I didn't really hear much of anything come from it. So I do know that the Game and Fish over in Oklahoma had talked about like 3 different options of, you know, canceling the season, you know, next year to, you know, reducing bag limits, and I don't know, it just various options, but I don't think any of that came to fruition or will come to fruition.
Yeah, I think you know, when it comes to the biologists and those people that make a lot more money than what I do, it's got to be a scary thing for them to try. Well, now we got to try and get this under control, and how do we do it with the least amount of impact that's going to piss people off, right? So yeah, man, that's shit. I guess what I'm getting at in all this is that I thought it was going to be a much bigger deal than what it panned out to be. I thought the avian flu was going to be a lot more prevalent, cause a lot more issues than what I've seen now. I'm not into the biologist pages or following all that stuff all the time, but I do keep a pretty good eye on social media and watching the videos, and I haven't seen a ton of it. So it's good, or people are just not showing it. But I would think that if it was an issue, social media would be flooded, especially the pages that we all follow.
Absolutely.
Shit, I lost my train of thought. There was something. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm a little verklempt.
Yeah, you have to use words I can understand.
You remember that skit from Saturday Night Live? Talk amongst yourself. Mike Myers. No.
Which one?
No.
There's so many.
Well, Mike Myers would dress as this Jewish woman with a talk show in New York, and she'd lose her train of thought, and then she'd be like, talk amongst yourself. I'm a little verklempt. And anyways, it was a good skit. But I digress. Yeah. But that's what it was. I wanted to get a chance. I didn't get an opportunity to use it. And you were talking about tactics earlier. I didn't get a chance to use it to its full capacity this year, but the animator, I know you got in on the Kickstarter the same as I did. Yeah. I tried to set it up a couple days. I just didn't have birds. So I really had nothing to test it on. But I'm curious to know, because I do know that you got in on it. What was your thoughts on it?
Well, first of all, let me give a shout out to George with Bluebird. Man, I put my equipment through the ringer, and George kept me in the game with my gear, with various problems. George was always quick to hit me back up. We would FaceTime, you know, talk about this and that. My case opening weekend froze shut, so I broke into my case because I wanted to use it. Yeah. So my case it's got that gear tie stuff keeping it closed. So yeah, man, I just want to shout out to George Parker over at Bluebird Waterfowl, man. That if you guys don't have an animator, everybody listening, hit that dude up, because it's like any other equipment. You gotta fine tune it. You gotta figure out when to use it, when not to use it. Yeah. What's working, what's not working. So Man, opening weekend, we had birds just dive bomb right on top of that thing. I mean, it just was stupid.
Really?
Oh yeah, it just sucked them right in. I tried different tactics, moving the spinners into the timber without the wings on and just getting the sound.
Yeah.
I tried leaving the spinners in the spread, but close to the water without the wings. I tried different combinations, cups down. So it just you got to play with it.
Yeah.
You know what worked this season may not work next year, but we went through a lot of different options with that stuff. But yeah, that animator is legit.
Really, eh?
Yeah, 100%.
I was trying to do up some video for him, and I just couldn't. So I didn't have the birds to test it on, but I've got a little pond, I guess, behind my house that I was going to try and keep open for late season. And I'm like, I wonder if I set up 2 animators and let them run overnight, would it move the water enough so that it wouldn't freeze? And it did on the like -1, -2 nights. But when she got down -10, yeah. there was nothing that, because it's not moving that much water. But
You
the
gotta
cool,
circulate water.
yeah. But the cool thing was that it did stop it from freezing. So overnight, would it work? No, but we've all been out hunting during the day when you break your water and then it freezes as the day goes on. And this, I bet you, if you use that animate for anything else, even if it's not working for the birds, it'll keep the water open. It'll keep the hole open 100%. It will. I had 2 of them. Set up, and it kept. Yeah, it worked well. But you're right. There is a little bit of I don't want to say a learning curve, because it's not that it's complicated to figure out. It's just you just want to fiddle with your I call it the splash plate, but you just got to fine tune the depth on your rod that you want it hitting the water and making that sound. But everything I've heard fellas are super happy with it. And I remember talking to George, and his biggest thing was that he wanted to be good to his customers. And that is the one thing that resonates across the board, is that nobody's got any complaints when it comes to dealing with George. Personally.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I ran the entire season without a jerk rig, and I'm not saying jerk rigs aren't going anywhere, because they're a vital part of hunting. Mm-hmm. But last season, my dog got in the jerk rig twice. Was never in peril. But I could see how a jerk rig would, I don't know, for lack of better words, be a dangerous situation.
Yeah.
So I wanted to run the entire season without a jerk rig, just to see.
Yeah.
And I mean, we were pretty successful. So that's, it kind of, I was excited to get that animator just to get motion on the water. Just along with the various other things, and we we ran the entire season without a jerk rig, and did wonderful. So may run a jerk rig next year, because the animators, the birds are learning it and have to go back to jerk rig, but it is what it is.
Well, it's more, we've talked about it many a times. It's just another tool, right? Is it going to work every day, every single time? No. It's chances are that it's not. But you just got to keep fiddling with it. That's one of the things when it comes to duck hunting. What worked one day may not work the next. And what I love, and I'll always go back to this story, is the day that Phil, Mark, and I had went out goose hunting, and we roll up. The 3 of us, each one of us had our own different. Well, we should set it up like this. Well, put the silhouettes like this. Well, let's put the blinds like this. All 3 of us had our own different thing. Everybody's got their own idea. So to say that one thing is the be all end all, in this crazy passion, is not the case. There's a couple things you got to pay attention to, but for the most part,
yep.
you know,
Got to watch them birds, man. See what they're responding to, what they're not responding to. So,
I don't know, Mark, man. Do you think we're going to be able to, we're talking about Phil. Phil's not allowed to come with us this year because he done, or next season because he done too much traveling this year.
Yep.
But we're trying to line up, and I'm throwing it out to everybody now, because if I can make this trip 3 and 4 weeks long, I will. But so the plan now is that we're going to head to Saskatchewan. We're going to hunt in Saskatchewan mid-November, then come down, probably down through the Dakotas, Minnesota, hopefully hit Kansas with Bobby Hayes. And you know what? If we're in Kansas, it's just as well to slip on down to Arkansas, because you're right there.
right. So when are your dates to Saskatchewan into the Dakotas? Do you know?
Yeah, I think it's going to be like the middle of November, the mid to late November.
So we're looking at November 11th to the 19th. I got to work that out with my sweetheart, because the 11th and 12th is deer opener. So that we may have to leave Monday. So that being said, if you guys are coming down through the Dakotas about the time that I'm up there,
that'd be even better.
Yeah, whether we hunt together or not, at least go grab some lunch or some dinner or something.
Totally hunt together. That's the whole point of going, is that we get a chance to meet up with the people that we have on the show and actually, have a hunt. That's the entire goal. And I don't know, Mark. Could be an epic trip, buddy, if we can make it all work. But we've got some pretty lofty goals, but if we can pull it all together, it's going to be. And then Phil is going to be left off to the side going.
Yeah.
He's going to be doing the Ontario thing.
Yeah. He's going to be rotted. And then
he'll be like,
okay, I'm good for next year.
Well, two big trips in one season. That was pushing my luck.
Yeah. No, and you did. You done two big trips.
Bucket list trips at that.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Fair. Did you get into Arkansas, Phil, when you were hunting?
That's actually where we hunted.
Okay. So you slept in Missouri but hunted in Arkansas.
Yeah, like on the border.
Okay.
Like I think we may have actually been in Arkansas and actually dropped birds into Missouri.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Right on the border.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was a blast.
I don't know why.
I actually got my stamp in the mail yesterday.
Your stamp?
That's actually a good question. So let's say I'm hunting the Canadian border and a bird falls on the Canadian side. Is recovery of that okay?
No one sees it.
You know what? So I thought I read something last year. So it had to do, it wasn't last year, it was the year before, and it was when COVID was on the go. And I think at the time, because of the border crossing and all of that bullshit that was going on with crossing over into Canada from the States, I think the Fish and Game people, I think they were sort of kind of mandated to pay a little bit extra attention to, say, an American hunter on the Great Lakes and then coming across to pick up birds. But ordinarily, I don't think it's like, if you're going in like 5 kilometers, I think that's a big deal. But if you're just, if it was a bird that sailed on you and you literally shot it in America and then it sailed into the state, into Canada, I don't think it's a big deal. But let's see what Mark's bringing up here.
Well, show and tell.
Let me readjust here.
Okay.
It didn't come up.
Yeah. So while you figure that out,
Uh-oh. So what's that,
the stamp.
Phil?
That is my Arkansas stamp.
Oh, cool.
Ah, nice.
That'd be cool. Are you gonna make like a just see
Thanks,
Rocky?
Rocky.
Yeah. Nice flex, Rocky.
Right.
Hey, those are all my stamps I've collected. I told my son, I said, when you start buying your stamps, save them.
Mhm.
If you throw them away, you'll wish you hadn't.
Well, I got a whole piss ton of
Ooh,
like
look at the Chinooks.
Canadian ones.
Look at the
Heck yeah.
Chinooks.
Oh, you see that?
Yeah, I can see that.
Where
So
are they
you better hide those that porn shit that you got, because I can see your home screen right now.
Okay, so do you see this over here? You
I
see the
can
map
see.
now?
Yeah, I can see the map
Okay.
now. Yeah,
Good enough. All right, so there's North Dakota,
yeah,
Mhm.
and up above that is Manitoba
yeah,
and Saskatchewan.
yeah,
So if we zoom in on the border here,
getting fucking dizzy here. Holy shit.
yeah. We're gonna have a fucking seizure here now in a second.
Right? I smell
let's
burnt
just zoom in on
toast.
the border here. So look, here's the border.
Yeah,
It's a fence line.
There's nothing.
No.
There's
Yeah.
nothing there.
yeah.
It's just an imaginary line.
Farm.
So if
Absolutely.
you're hunting here in this area,
Yeah,
you have decoys set up here, and the birds come in, and you
Sail
sky
one.
blast for better definition, and it sails and lands right here. Who's going to catch you? Look, there is
Right.
nothing.
right. But and that's fine for an area there. So in the pothole region where it's just vast land, vast farmland, fields at 100%, because I think there's some common sense that comes along with patrolling that area of the world.
Look at the water though.
I know.
Like when you zoom out.
Just run across waving your passport.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
I don't think anybody would. I honestly don't think anybody would care.
I
Now,
would know.
now, if you were hunting the St. Lawrence River here,
Fuck,
where
there'd be boats
yeah.
on you in a heartbeat.
yeah, I think in my area, it would be a lot harder to pull that off, just because, you know, I don't know what's the St. Lawrence River width wise here, maybe 800-900 meters, maybe.
Where?
Like where I am, not even that far, not even that
Where
wide.
you are, it's the width of that end of Lake Ontario.
Yeah, that's what I mean, right? So like,
It's a lot wider than 800 or 900 meters.
no, not at all. The bridge that crosses over to St. Lawrence to go into New York, where I cross.
I'm talking about where you actually are.
Oh no, I'm talking about like on the St. Lawrence. I'm on Lake Ontario, but on the St. Lawrence, like 600-700 meters, man. That's it.
Well, here I'll tell you, at Rockport.
So like you could be sitting on shore, stateside or the Canadian side, and shoot
4 kilometers wide at Rockport.
Yeah, it's 2 kilometers wide where you are talking, Danny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought it was that wide.
Yeah.
No way would I. But yeah, like I think in my area, it would be hard to hide that. But when you're talking the Dakotas and Saskatchewan and that area, I don't think, I think that's probably a very common occurrence out there.
So I wonder what, I guess you could just hunt Canada and not have to worry about being in trouble, so to speak.
I don't know if you could. Well, I guess it all depends on who owns the land, right? So if it's a farmer's field, like if it's a farmer's field and you've got permission,
yeah,
I'm sure there's Americans that have friends that are Canadian farmers, and they literally just walk over that imaginary line and hunt in the farmer's field. I'm sure of it.
Right. Yeah.
We're not, but in any way condoning running back and forth across the
yeah. Yeah. So suck it. Don't try and get me in trouble.
There, Mark.
Disclaimer here.
Disclaimer.
Yeah. Don't be trying to get me in shit.
Yeah, I heard it's only illegal if you get caught.
Said it was okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, famous last words. Oh, these experts. Remember what I always say: we never pretend to be experts.
No.
but and sorry, Phil, I know you got a point to make. But I think the people that are patrolling, so the fish and game wardens, both stateside and the Canadian side, I think there's a level of common sense that comes with patrolling that part of the world. And
Whoa, sunshine! You backed the truck up.
what?
You said common sense.
Oh no, buddy!
I caught it too, Philly. I caught it too.
You said common sense. Whoa.
No, I seriously think that. I think it's something that happens more than we realize. And in the grand scheme of things, if somebody is in Canada and shooting birds and it sails into the States, and you walk over the imaginary line to pick it up, in the grand scheme of things, I think that's the least of a warden's concern.
I mean, it's just a sense of morality or ethics, just go get the game,
Yeah, absolutely. What were you going to say, Philly? We kept cutting you out. There was a couple times they were cutting you off.
I heard it's only illegal if you get caught.
Yeah. Famous last
Pretty
words.
much.
What's
What's going to happen the first time? They're going to send you home, right?
Yeah, don't do that anymore.
It's never a war crime the first time.
Very true.
Oh,
Very true. This episode of the Union 0430 is brought to you by, I don't know how to say it, but it's Nicaraguan rum.
Florida Cana.
And it is fucking delicious. I gotta tell you. I had a buddy that went down to Mexico and he brought me back because I was looking after his cats.
So how is it straight though?
Good.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it's smooth. It's nice. It's
I have to try that. I also have to try some Blanton's if I can ever find it.
It is nice, but yeah.
Hey Damien, I was gonna throw this out at you.
Wow.
If you rock that mullet that you had a couple weeks ago for the upcoming 23-24 season,
The flow.
the whole season,
Yeah.
I'll get you a dozen decoy rigs up there after season.
Done. Deal.
On me.
Deal.
Let her ride.
Yeah.
You gotta rock that mullet
The whole season.
whole season.
So okay, you got to get me a picture of what you're talking about to send me. So a picture that I like. Is there a picture of me?
A mullet.
Yeah, remember when I busted your balls about it, and then I was like, you need to 100% rock that, and then I think your wife made a comment. about it
the mustache.
Oh yeah, it was the stash, but I was like, you need to grow a mullet.
Oh,
The mullet
You know what a
stash.
mullet is?
yeah, no. I know, but I know what a mullet is.
Party in the back. I thought, it was the stash, but I told you, I said you need to grow.
I don't know the stash, but when I I got ready to go to a Masonic meeting that night. So I was home alone. It was my son was home. The two girls were gone. My wife and my daughter weren't home. So I was going to a Masonic meeting. I showered, had my suit, everything on, and I come out and I had the mustache, the Hulk Hogan, I call it. My son immediately was like, that is awesome. That's the best thing I've ever seen, right? Because he's a dude and he gets things like that.
The big dirty handlebar.
Yeah. When I come home that night and the wife seen it, oh boy.
Trish, none too impressed.
No, and she's pretty, like she lets me she doesn't give me any grief, right? Like I can do whatever with the hair and I got the beard. She's not a fan of the beard, but she lets it go. But when I done that fucking mustache, she was not impressed whatsoever. And my daughter's like, yeah. And my daughter's like, you are not going anywhere with me with that thing on your face.
So it's like this. You know how we just had a conversation about common sense there a few minutes ago?
Yeah.
Trish has the common sense. Damien does not.
No, this is very true.
Have you seen that? So my hair was a little bit longer during season. Have you seen those cuts where it's buzzed here, but it's not like full mullet?
Skullet.
Skullet, yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
My wife, she was cutting my hair, and I was like, "You have got to leave it like that for one day. Just let me go to work. She goes, "You're not leaving this house looking like that."
That's the Hulk Hogan, the skullet.
Yeah, I would 100%. I'd have wore a hat
with a
but I'd
do-rag on, right?
100% I would have 100% rocked it to work just for one day.
See, God love our wives, because I know sometimes we think they're nags and they don't let us have fun. But in the grand scheme of things, they're looking out after us because we do some pretty stupid shit. I had a buddy.
Yes, we do.
I got an old sergeant one time that used to always say, "It's amazing that we actually make it to manhood." With all the stupid shit we do as boys and young men, it's amazing that we actually make it to manhood. And it's a very true statement. But I would like to rock that thing and leave it for a whole season. It's just I gotta go to places sometimes where that just would not be.
Just doesn't fly.
It just wouldn't work.
Mullet. You can do
No, the fucking mustache. Oh, the mullet. Fuck, buddy. I live up here. There's more kids running around with mullets up here nowadays. It's crazy. We went to a Motley Crue concert back in August, and there was dudes that must have been sitting in their parents' basements for fucking 30 years waiting for Motley Crue to come back out on tour so that they can come out of hiding because they were still wearing leopard print pants with the fucking mullets and oh, buddy, downtown Toronto, Philly, you wouldn't. It was like straight out of 1985, dude. It was
just
awesome.
Nothing but hair.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. The women there was women with big hair and dudes with there was dudes that look well, they look like they hadn't eaten in like fucking 2 weeks and they've been just pounding back Jack Daniels for Jack Daniels and Coke for 2 weeks in leopard print pants. It just, it was wild.
I bet you there was some denim jackets.
No, because it was too hot. It was in August, right?
No.
But it was a lot of see-through mesh t-shirts with spandex pants.
Jeans.
Yeah, spandex pants and snake skin cowboy boots. It was awesome. It was such a good time.
So so during season, things that you do or whatever it is, you have business ventures or meetings. Can you rock the mullet would be good?
Oh yeah, the mullet would be good. No problem with the mullet. Oh, so we're changing it. We're gonna go straight mullet.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. With facial hair, you got a clean cut or whatever it is you got to do.
Oh, I think I can pull off a mullet for a full season. I don't think I go anywhere because I can still slick it back or I can do something with product.
Just for the love of Christ, don't do a man bun.
No.
Yeah.
I will lose all respect.
No.
Yeah.
There
ratings will plummet and
Yeah. The last thing, we can't afford ratings to plummet on this show.
No, we can't.
We can't afford a bad episode on here.
So we got a deal. You rock the mullet from just all the way through the season, and I'll get you a dozen decoy rigs after the year's over.
Yeah, buddy.
Full 105 days, bro.
Yeah. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. No problem there. Done.
I'll take.
We're gonna. You gotta keep this in mind, Rocky, because we're totally gonna forget this, and then
I won't forget.
No, I know.
We should just label this episode "Damien grows a mullet."
Damien grows a mullet.
This will be like our notepad.
There you go.
Because otherwise, we're gonna forget.
Yeah, big time. To get back in all seriousness and talk about some bird hunting, though, Rocky, what have you seen this year that you haven't seen in years past? So with regards to tactics, and species of birds, because it seems like we're hearing more and more people talk about seeing, I always call them wonky birds, but birds that aren't normally in your area, and then something just comes through and it's like, holy shit, I shot a cinnamon teal this morning. There
was right towards the end of the year, some buddies of mine, they killed a mallard black duck hybrid. Man, that was pretty cool to see. But I mean, you get those randoms. I mean, it's freaks of nature that get pushed into a flyaway, but I mean, we still see the same stuff over and over again.
Yeah.
Well,
see, and that's so weird, because not that it's something that you see all the time, but a mallard black duck hybrid is not an anomaly around here, right? Like that's, if you're going to get a hybrid around here, that's usually what it is.
Gotcha.
In fact, there is a theory around here that there are no true black ducks around here, that every friggin' black duck you shoot around here is somewhat of a hybrid.
Just a wee bit of mallard in it.
Yeah, it's just a wee. There's a theory around here that there's no true black duck. Like you got to get out like Merck's side of the country before you start getting into what's considered a real black duck.
Gotcha.
Yeah, well, I shot a black duck mallard hybrid and it was banded.
Oh, sick. What was that Ryan sent us yesterday? That was a pintail mallard.
Yeah.
Pinard.
That was nice.
A beautiful bird.
Yeah, it was, man. Like the bill had a pintail bill, pintail sprig, the what is it? What's the ones down on the wing? Is that the secondaries they call them? That's the primaries. So the primaries were pintail, but the head was mallard, had just a little bit of the pin. Fuck, it was a pretty bird. Pretty bird.
Did you guys see those bands on those the cranes? They were, oh my gosh, these birds were 30 years old.
Really?
Jeez.
Yeah, one was 28, I think. Don't quote me on the second one, but I'm pretty sure one was 30 years old and the other one's, I think, 28. It was like,
wow. Good
gosh, I didn't know those birds that lived that long.
Man, I fucking die at, yeah, like look at that, man.
Yeah.
So
that's a stud.
That is a stud, but like look at the bill, the head, and then the primaries. The next picture should be the primaries, I think. Yeah.
Look at the back. Look at the back.
Yeah, beautiful bird. Pretty bird.
Yeah.
There's pictures of it on the water here. With the sprig.
Look at the sprig on that. Yeah.
Big curly sprig.
Yeah.
Yeah, onto the wall you go.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
And then there's a bull right there. Look.
Yeah. And a mallard mallards all around.
A whole bunch of greenheads.
Hanging out with everything there.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, like that to me, and Rocky, this is something that's probably you get to see often. But for me, the opportunity to stand by a tree in knee-deep water, with my dog with me, and to see those kinds of, like, that's a bucket list for me right there. To be like in that type of environment, standing in water, kicking the water to get some motion, and just watching those birds dump in through the canopies. That is a dream hunt for me right there.
You should do that with a 20 or a 28 gauge, Damien.
I don't care what it is. I'll throw rocks at them. Well, I got a 20 gauge.
Should get another one. I strongly encourage it.
No.
More the merrier.
No. I got a gun. I got a 12 gauge and a 20 gauge now. That's one gun more than I need.
Cool story, bro. You ever seen a golfer with just one club?
No, don't need more than one.
No, but I heard those work good on geese, though.
Yeah, there was a guy. Did you listen to that episode? Did you listen to that episode last week, Rocky, where we were talking about?
I haven't caught it yet.
Oh,
yeah, I got to catch up.
Yeah, you got to listen to this idiot here in Canada that went into a safari and killed a fucking couple hogs. And
you guys talked about that on that episode, and I wasn't there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you would love to, Phil.
Buddy, I could have talked the whole episode.
Yeah. Anyways, so there's this, because it's such a cool story, and now we got to tell you, Rocky. So this guy who's a duck and goose outfitter, or a guide. I don't think
not one of my friends by any means.
No, he's nobody's friend from what I can gather.
Oh, he sure as fuck don't like me. Trust me.
The caveat to this is that guy was a shit show long before this story came along.
Oh yeah, big time.
Long before.
Yeah. Anyway, so one day he's out with his family at this park, petting zoo. Yeah, I guess so. This park, and I guess the elk that are there, like when you drive in through the front gate, you can buy carrots to feed the elk because they'll come and they'll take them right out of your hand. Anyways, so he goes, sizes up the elk and everything, then comes back with his buddy at the night and shoots an elk and a couple wild hogs and stuffs them in his fucking minivan. Safari park, that's what it is. I was trying to look for the word. Anyways,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. So the kicker to this is that so on in the Ontario, Quebec social media pages, this went rampant, right? Everybody knows who this guy is. Everybody knows he's a bit of an asshat. So everybody's talking about it and telling him he's an idiot and all this stuff on all the forums and all the social media pages. Then last week, or no, it was probably about a month ago. Then a month ago, he puts a post on saying, hey, I know you guys all know that I got into some trouble lately. The lawyer fees are pretty expensive. So I need some help raising some money to pay for my lawyer fees. So I got some property for deer if anybody wants to lease the property off me so I can get some money to pay the fuck. And everybody's they're just hammering on him. They're like, buddy, you are the dumbest fucking dude ever. And now you want us, and this isn't his own property. This is property that he's got permission on from some farmer or something. And he's charging people to go use the property that he's got permission on. Like just a bonehead, right? Just a bonehead.
I like the post that I put up on the one page, but it got nuked pretty quick.
Wow.
I don't know if you guys saw
that.
It
must have been bad because I've seen some, and I seen Luke Shirters destroys that guy every time he comes on and posts something.
It was a picture of Steven Spielberg with the Triceratops. And I posted on there. I'm like, oh, I went and recently did a hunt with this guy. You know, he's hard on his luck. You know, I shot this absolute trophy, and it lasted like half an hour.
Yeah.
One of the moderators nuked it, but like I specifically sought out the Spielberg with the Triceratops photo for it.
Oh, yeah. I do know that. I did see that one. Yeah.
It didn't go far, but
no. Boys, we're at around that 60-minute mark, and as always, it's been a hockey sock full of topics that we've discussed. We've been all over the place. I don't think we've accomplished anything.
Do we ever?
Well, I think sometimes we accomplish stuff.
Well, when we had James on from Advanced Taxidermy, we actually managed to.
Well, we achieve some stuff. Sometimes we educate some people. Sometimes
you hit the record button. That's already one step further.
Yeah, fair. But Rocky, as always, buddy, you're always welcome on. We love having you on and love get to shoot the shit with you. I didn't get to pick your brain enough though tonight because we ended up going on a few tangents, and I did want to pick your brain a little bit more on hunting in Arkansas and stuff like that because I don't think Arkansas has been getting the love from the show the last few months because we've been going all over everywhere else in the States. It's crazy how many people from the States we have on the show, and we hardly have anybody from Canada on the show. Weird.
It is what it is. Well, what you got?
Well, it's just
they don't call it unterrible for nothing.
Well, it and not the and it's not meant to insult anybody. It's just I can reach out to a duck hunter in the States and ask them, hey, do you want to come hang out on a show with us for an hour and shoot the shit? And they're like, yeah. But if I do it to a Canadian, they're like, well, how many followers do you have? Oh, fuck. How
many of them are paid for?
Well, 0 paid for, which is why we don't have very many of them. But it's like it is the weirdest thing, dude. Like I can reach out to almost anybody in the States except for that one dude. Remember that guy? I'll tell you his name offline, Rocky. But anyways, I reached out. He's a goose hunter down the States. And I reached out to him one time about coming on the show. And he's like, how many views do you get? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know, a couple hundred, you know, on a good day, a couple hundred. And he's like, oh, I get 100,000 on mine. I'm like, that's for 30 seconds. That's a 30-second video you put on Instagram. You get 100,000 views. I'm talking about 200 views on an hour-long show. And he was like, I'll come on, but I'm not promoting it. And I said, well, then don't come on, buddy. Like, if you're that big of a deal, we're probably going to piss you off because we're amateurs. So, anyways, but it was funny.
Man, I appreciate y'all having me on. I threw that out there to you, you know, kind of midway through the season. If you guys want to talk about postseason stuff, you know, just a recap of how the season went and how y'all did. And I know you were pretty excited about doing that. And, you know, I reached out to you last week or over the weekend. And I was happy to hop on, man. I just, you know, we've all connected now, you know, so it just, you guys get to see my kids. And
it's funny though, eh? Like, never met. All we've done is just talk on this show a few times and, you know, the odd message back. And now we're ripping on one another for sports teams. And it's just, you know, again, we've talked about it 100 times on how, you know, a lot of people talk about how close knit this community is, but then there's always that one asshat that makes it look bad for us but the majority of us are all just a bunch of people that just love hanging out and talking about shooting ducks and whatever it is, what works in one place, maybe it'll work in another. And you're just trying to get tips from one another. It really is. It is heartwarming. And it's, you know, special to bring this up because, you know, today is Sean Stahl's birthday. And we did an episode with Sean a bunch of months ago. And that was the point that he had made. He was like, you know, we can be jerks to one another. But there's no need to be jerks to one another. I don't know why we are. I can understand if a dude is just an outright asshole, then you're a jerk to him. But I don't think there's any need for us to wake up in the morning to be a jerk. If somebody does, you know, so anyways, I'm stealing your thunder there, Rocky, on your exit message here.
No, man, like I said, it's a joy to be here. It's a joy to meet people from all across the country. Man, I've got friends that never even met them, but we talk constantly. You know, so it's just a community, you know, like none other, you know, so.
Very true. Philly?
Rocky, absolute pleasure again to have you on and hopefully get you back on again and maybe we can streamline the show a little bit better and we'll focus on like one thing, not like 17 or whatever. But
I sort of think that's our thing though, Philly. I think
variety is the spice of life. And
I think that's our thing. I think that's our thing,
yeah.
man. I think people like the organized chaos, to be honest with you.
Just discombobulated.
Yeah, Mark.
Good seeing you again, Rocky.
You too, buddy.
I'm proud of myself. I stayed awake for this whole show, and not from anyone else's fault but my own, because I've had a very active day. I've been going all day.
Air Force, right? Mm-hmm.
No, hopefully work is not watching this, but I've been doing a lot of exercise today. Let's put it that way.
At the wing commander is watching this show, please send me a message and I will be sure to pass it on to Mark. Please. Yeah. Awesome.
Poor Dave, he's absent again. So
well, yeah, it's Dark Cloud. Well, he wrote me back. He said it's his internet is what the issue is. But it's Dark Cloud, man. It's oh wait, no, he did. I don't know if these were yeah. His internet is all kinds of wonky, so that's how come he couldn't get on. He tried to join. It said that he was in the waiting room, but
yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Rocky buddy, thanks again for coming on. Thanks for reaching out. last week and saying, hey, listen, we should do this. And I agree. I love the idea of you coming on, talking about your season, doing sort of a wrap up, but we didn't really wrap up. So maybe you're going to have to come on again and we'll do a proper wrap up. But thanks, buddy. I really do mean it. And I speak on behalf of all the boys when I say it is truly humbling to know that good people like yourself reach out to us and you want to come on and hang out with us for an hour, because we really don't know what we're doing. You know, I'm drunk most of the time. Philly is just looking. Yeah, Philly's just looking for any opportunity where he can talk about a 20 and a 28 gauge gun, and Merc comes on just to make sure that we don't go down any political rabbit holes. Just to keep us on the straight and narrow. So, buddy, we really do appreciate it. We appreciate the friendship, and we look forward to having you back on the show again, buddy. And I mean that with the most sincerity that I can. Everybody, this was episode 132 of the Union 0430. We are not experts. Anything that's said in this podcast will not help you out in court. Just so you know, you are not getting off with whatever it is you've done by quoting anything that comes out of our mouth, just so that you're aware.
And you'll never find this channel again.
Big love, everybody. Until next time. Oh, what a dick move. Oh, keep calm and fuck the maple. Oh.